Okay, everybody, it's getting crazy out there, and I decided that you're optimistic is gonna make this a musical reading. Why everything's gone crazy out there. Gonna pick some cards from the Voyager Tarot. We are gonna pick some cards from the Earth Warriors. Why? I'll tell you why, because we're seriously moving and shaking out there, light workers and starseeds. I'm going to turn this off, actually, because I was going to work on this song, and then I thought, no. What I really need to do is I really need to let starseeds and light workers know that I've done a lot of research, and so I have a little bit of information to download on you before I start reading cards. And that is that you've probably already heard about the big pile up in Capricorn, about the Pluto-Saturn conjunction, the full moon eclipse. It's the 9th right now, and that'll be happening tomorrow. The other things that you might have been queuing into if you go to Higher Self on YouTube is the coronal mass ejections on the 5th, the actual breach in Earth's magnetosphere, which allowed a lot of I am going to use the word light codes. I'm going to tell you why in a minute. Because auroras then came out, huge auroras that have never been seen. And then we have these other types of clouds with the pink and the turquoise and the gold in them now. I've been seeing that for years. I've been trying to point it out to people, and they have been going, I don't know what you're seeing there. But I think these are all signs that as we say, the veils are lifting, the Schumann resonance is now showing 2 additional bass frequencies. Interesting, right? 2 frequencies are coming in. And there is also another frequency that is, we could almost say, battling with it, and it's coming across as dots and dashes. And what you need to do to get all that information is just go to Wages World, WAGES, World, WORLD. It's a YouTube channel, and on that channel you're going to find the graphs of the Schumann resonance. You're going to find the SOHO and other space telescope visuals on everything I just told you. Okay, so I am completely frying as a channeler of energy, and I have been all day. But it's been absolutely wonderful and positive and fabulous. I have been raising the vibration in every way that I know how. I'm going to start taking some cards now, actually. I think it's a good idea. This reading I didn't put any forethought into this reading because I think it's best that I just take everything from the field of information as it's coming down, because the information is coming in so strong and so fast for channelers and light workers. We are just really coming up with the stuff. So some people are calling it a solar flash. Some people are calling it a quasar or something. I mean, something else that it really isn't. So these terms, kind of scientific terms, are getting mixed up with the language of spirituality, which is getting mixed up with the language of our personal selves, and all that. My glasses are kind of biting me. All that really amounts to is that it's happening, and it's being talked about all across the board. And of course, these great alignment, the planetary alignment that's happening right now, was foretold also by quite a few different very technical kind of astrophysicists and astrologists. So also check out Molly McCord, please, on YouTube if you want to see a video called the Pluto-Saturn conjunction 2020, and she made that in December, and she just nails a ton of stuff, including this supposed war. I say supposed war because, let's face it, we have had two kinds of people on Earth, and we still do. Those that believe in war, and that we've always had it and we always will, and that it's a real option. And those of us who were born, like not being down with conflict, arguing, or war, or harm of any kind, and not feeling as though it was natural, and protesting it, or whatever we did in our own ways to express that, or maybe we didn't even express it because there was no place to express it. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to just we're going to pull some cards, and these cards are going to tell us what is happening within the light workers and within the star seeds and those who are seekers. These labels, right? But I'm using them because that's what we've been doing. Soon we'll just be people again. So what's going on? Okay, so we see, the first thing that we see that is happening is we see this battle going down. Okay, so we have the Five of Wands. And we see that right now, a lot of you are having the silliest arguments with people. It's just ridiculous. And your family and friends, they're coming up with stuff that you thought, died in 1952. Before you were even born. But no, they're coming up with it. And you are having to kind of pony up a bit. And instead of going, yeah, well, whatever, and just carrying on, you're standing your ground and you're saying, hey, wait a minute. It's not just me that thinks this, So we do, another thing is, we do have mass meditations coming up, all right, today on the 10th and on the 20th. Please, if you need inspiration, just Google global meditations for the 20th or for the 10th, and you'll see what's going on. Get in on that, because this is a bit of an emergency video too. Okay, this is a call out, and I'm just one more part of the signaling that we are about to enter the age of Aquarius, and we literally are. Okay, you can. So let's get back to your story. And okay, so here we have the King of Swords. The King of Swords is upside down. And the King of Swords is upside down, and we know what that represents. That represents the pure intellect, or the pure force that has been running our social, political, economic, and healthcare systems, and it's not working. In Africa, there is a saying, if it's not good for everybody, it's not good for anybody. And we have so many really smart ideas that panned out very poorly for most people of Earth on the table. They're all coming up. And I'm going to assume that another aspect of this will come up. I'm only going to pull 4 cards from this shuffle, and then we're going to move along. Right. So the world upside down. So this is the other part of it. So all of the it's okay, right? Because we are in the middle of this supposed war, which is actually more like when you have a lovely pot of stew and you've been eating from it and you're like, wow, this is great. But the truth is that it was great 6 weeks ago, and it's been sitting there, and it's not actually that great, but you don't know because it's the only stew available. And then finally somebody stirs that pot really good, and then all the yucky stuff that's stuck at the bottom floats to the top, and then you go to get that stew you thought was great, and you say, wow, this is actually poop stew. And so the world upside down, realizing they've been eating poop stew for a while. And that means that it's time for light workers and star seeds, alternative leaders. We're all leaders. Teachers, healers. We're going to have to step up our games and games. That's not everybody, but step up our work get serious, get focused, because we have to turn the world right side up again. All right. And the final card, just for this sort of what is happening right now for you. And it looks like you're having these family fights, and then the external issues, the unavoidable social and political issues that we have. We pretty much have to pay attention to them now, and it's the controllers have made it impossible with their fake war, which is designed to make upset us terribly, so that we're easier to control. Okay, and I'm praying, as so many are right now, that when the people go into the streets, that they go into the streets with love, and that they go into the streets to model the new society that we wish to live in, or just stay at home and meditate. Because if we go into resistance and anger mode and we push back, and hey, I'm an activist, okay? I spend a lot of time on the streets with the banners shouting my face off, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. And it's an energy that keeps everything at a standstill until something breaks it, and what usually breaks it is an escalation. And this is just the plain story that we're seeing. We're seeing that play out. I refuse to mention the situation that's happening because you all know what it is. So here's our economic situation. And right side up, we have benevolent leaders who have abundance, distributing it to those without. Well, that's part of turning the world right side up. So expect a lot of economic changes. You don't have to listen to what I say. Obviously, I'm not an expert on anything besides raising the vibration at a really critical moment in the history of the planet. But I suggest that you kind of cash out and divest. All right. Now, I think I'm going to have to kind of go into the zone and kind of ring my bell so that I can just sort of discern what the next part of the reading is. Okay, so I'm going to ask that for the rest of the reading that I'm allowed to bring through messages specifically for those who will be watching this, and that as I do this, that I connect myself and the high vibrations and the positive energy that I have been generating here in my space, and that this goes out, and that this connects up with all light workers and all star seeds, all seekers, all people of Earth who have love and peace in their hearts, and who believe that this is really not only just a possibility for Earth at this time, but that the approaching golden era is just as prominent as is the alternate timeline being offered to us at this time. And it is very important that we bring together all of our teachings of focus, of concentration, of right mind, of right action, and recall whatever it is in our past so that we can bring it up, forgive ourselves, forgive others, clear it, and open ourselves up to all of the energy that is coming, and that is here right now, I should say. Okay, I'm gonna take the Voyager deck, and I'm going to do a spread for the next 11 days. So this is going to cover today, the 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th, leading up to the 20th. These are all very important days to us coming up. I know that us seers and we sound the alarm a lot, and we sound it, and then it doesn't happen. And I'm telling you now that that is preparation for a time when you will be able to then take all the things that you heard around the time that we were setting off the alarm, but it wasn't really time. And then you can look around and see what's going on. The cards are shuffled now. I'm going to lay them out. It's time for you to put 2 and 2 together. And but we need to know a variety of things over the next 11 days. What's the best way for us to put our energy and our actions into the greatest shift humankind has ever seen? Or what we need to know about how it is that those who are in resistance and conflict are how they're going to struggle their way through this revealing, this place we're all in where the mirror's there and there's nowhere to run from it. Okay? Now, for all of us who basically like what we see when we look in the mirror, you know, we're happy. We're celebrating. We've been celebrating since December 25th, but for different reasons than Christmas, we've been celebrating. We know what's going on, and I'm telling you, we're talking happy ending to a very long story. Okay, so that's, as I've told you before, I put the cards face down. So there's today. Excuse me. 9, 10. I clear my throat a lot to clear energy. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and wow, the 20th, okay? So what we need to know today about this huge amount of shifting that is going on today is, well, I'm so unsurprised. It says art, okay? This is the wandless deck. And so what I'm going to do is I am going to clarify with the traditional Rider-Waite, but this Voyager Tarot is based on the traditional tarot, you know, like it's got 76 cards. And if you look at this card, okay, it is a picture of the new earth. It is a picture, and when I say new earth, I don't mean if you consider that we're functioning on a physical level, a spiritual level, possibly I'm not going to say possibly anymore because it's time for me to stop that. On an interdimensional level, on all these different levels. The choice to live in an artful manner has always been there, and has been there on all those levels. So we see the rainbow sun. We see the fall of Rome in this card. We see a cauldron, which is full of volcanic lava. And we also see the plants shifting. So I don't know how, I'm just going to hold the card up like this. You can really look at it while I'm talking. Now, so that means that today is a very important day to hold that vision more than ever. And I know we say this all the time. And I know that a lot of light workers, starseeds, and others are just bored and tired of the whole damn thing. Well, please don't do that now, okay? And on that tip, we don't know if the CMEs that are coming are going to take out our communication system. So it's really important that we do believe at this point in all the stuff we've been spewing, and we remember that we live in a unified field, and we are all connected, and we do have the psychic power to stay connected. We can talk to each other, and we can send messages. So I'm asking you to live your life today in an artful and a creative and a beautiful manner while you watch Rome fall, so to speak, this version of it. Okay, now tomorrow is the 10th, and we know that it's the full moon, and we know that it is going to be full of all kinds of things. Now, I'm going to read all these cards for the days. I'm going to read them upright because we're asking for messages, not sort of a perspective on a certain situation. So I'm really not surprised. This has, again, I'm probably going to say that a lot, but I can feel the cards are very hot, so to speak. That's what I call them when they're all vibrating like this. So this is the opportunity that is I was talking about. This is the Sage of Worlds, or the King of Pentacles in the regular deck. But you see the land, you see the nourishment, you also see the pentacles, you see the cleansing, you see the respect of the elders, you see the respect of the mother, you see the respect of the grandmothers, you see the respect of the ancient knowledge, and the galactic ways, the relationship that we had once upon a time. I don't know. You tell me what happened. The galactics went, wow, you guys are seriously not gonna, okay. We'll go away and we'll come back. And when we come back, I don't know how that went exactly, but there's a whole lot of millions of versions of it. I personally, as a mother, think that the reason that things have gone on for so long is simple. We needed to learn it ourselves. Okay, now we are on to the 11th, which I'm going to predict that this card has something to do with our greater relationship to the community or relationships, because we have everything all figured out and we've been doing lots of self-care and self-healing knowing this is going to come. But our relationships are also coming up for a wake-up call. And yeah, okay, so here we have fear. So I'm going to say that that on this day, there is even another blow to our grounding. So we've had a president just kind of like blow up 3 major leaders in a country far away, in a conflict most of us don't even understand. And then we had, yesterday we had a plane. Many people died, and it was tragic, and we don't even know why. And we assume it was part of this very immature, unevolved aspect of humanity that really needs to get healed. So I'm going to say that on the 11th, there will be news of something more that is designed to put us into fear and make us believe that we need to actually rely on these guys when that is the last thing we need to do. So please, I know that staying positive might be next to impossible at this time, or it might be really easy like it is for me. It doesn't mean I'm not processing emotions. I'm still processing emotions. But I have a deep, deep, deep understanding, knowledge, knowing, feeling, and every other else thing that this is a happy ending about to happen. And I think it's going to take about a year. And that's not very long. Okay, on the 12th, we have the learner and the child of crystals. So I'm going to say that we are victorious as light workers with our meditations that will begin to happen. And that many, 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 many people all over the earth are waking up and learning as if they haven't been already. Okay, the light worker community, the new earth community, or let's just say the new society that is based on actions that come from love and compassion, or whatever. I think that of the many, many, many literally hundreds of thousands of people since 2012 who have opened up their minds to learn about Mayan astrology, or to learn about yoga, or to learn about all kinds of things in the vein of teachings that actually benefit people and benefit mankind. That by the 12th, there will be another resurgence of that as people look around for something to alleviate their fear. And on the 13th, we have aspiration. And so this will be that tough climb, I think, that one of the astrologers, I wish I could remember her name, was talking about how we all have this opportunity to climb that mountain. In other words, our aspirations that we have held in our hearts quietly, or we have been expressing, we have to work and climb and focus, and this is the time to do that. This month is the time to do that, to take your deepest aspirations and ignore everybody and dig into it. Okay, we got the 14th, and the 14th is reflection, but we're not going to read it reversed. So this looks to me like, right away, it makes me think of the weather disturbances that we've been having, and but I don't know. I think that's me thinking. So let me just look at the card, all right? Okay. What this says to me is that it looks like, again, we're still in the middle of dealing with tragedies, but at a certain point, everyone is going to get tired of being stressed out, and they're going to have a moment to reflect. They're going to have a minute to sit back and go, wait, never mind what the news says, never mind what everybody says. I have to reflect upon my own life and reflect upon all these situations, and I'm going to have to come up with something. So on the 15th, wow, we have reward. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, yeah. On the 15th, we have reward, and I can only say that this will be some kind of victory that and a reward that comes to those of us who are holding the peace. And I'm sure that maybe the people who are hoping for a currency change and for us to come into that abundance that we all deserve, wouldn't it be nice if it came as soon as the 15th? On the 16th, we have sorrow, and this is, this is coming up. A lot of light workers are just, we're just, all of our sadness is coming up. We're just crying it out and going, okay, well, glad that's it. It's the sorrow of of humanity's history is coming up, because we're never going to do this stuff again. 2019, 18, 17. And on the 17th, wow. On the 17th, we have the Chariot. So I'm going to say that we have all moved along, and that something happens on the 17th that really moves all this stuff forward. And when I say all this stuff, I mean like the stock market's going crazy. I mean, there's going to be demonstrations. There was probably demonstrations today all over the U.S. There's going to be a huge move to shift all of this, the war part, the meditation part, the resistance in the streets part, and something's going to come along and very strongly shift that more into the new frequency that we know is coming, and there's absolutely nothing that we can do about it. And here we have the Man of Crystals, and this indicates to me that this movement will come from the release of some of the new technology that has been held back. And I'm also going to say that I wouldn't doubt that has to happen because some of our power grids go out. And wow. Okay. So now we have Aries, the Emperor, who is coming up in the rear as warrior leaders do. They like in the wolf pack, they come up behind because they make sure that there's no stragglers, and they also make sure that they can watch the situation from a position where they're not a target. So Aries is a very strong and powerful force at this time for good. So I'm going to say that some very strong force comes into play on the 19th. I'm not going to take a guess at what that is, but you're thinking something right now, and that's what it is, okay? And of course, wow. So now our outcome on the 20th. Right. So we have the time and space card. Rarely comes out. It's like a portal card. You can see the swirling portal in the sky at the top. You can see the ancient stone monument and looking up at this event. The 20th is going to blow your mind. All right. And I'm not going to go into all the symptoms we've been experiencing or the immaterial experiences that we've been having. You've been having them, and boy, it's going to get cranked up. And on the 20th, wow, it looks to me like we're going to make some kind of connection with the ancients who helped to build those stone monuments. We got 3 Buddhas here, kind of floating down in this cosmic space, and then we have a person at the bottom meditating, if you look closely, all of these things into being. And we have the full moon at the top, and the cycles of the moon. This is quite the card. This is quite the card. Do you know why? Because the 20th is going to be quite the cosmic event. All right. I don't know what I normally do because this is only my second reading. So I don't normally do anything. And I'm actually going to cut this right here. I know that's kind of abrupt and not a crazy amount of segue put into that. I think it's time that we all go within and check around for these adjustments that are happening also to our bodies. You may be feeling pressure in the front of your forehead or on both sides of your head. You might have different kinds of things going on. And if you lay down and you don't resist it and you go to it and take your mind to that place and start trying to actually decipher what's going on, you'll see that if you're willing to receive what is here and what's been coming, that this is actually a pretty fabulous ride happening right now. Okay, I'm good with the whole thing. Okay, so that is it for your mystic reading for the pre-dawn of a new era.